Hey stepsons, it happens to be getting warmer outside and I love this time of year, it's spring. So we're going to do something today. We're going to barbecue with charcoal. We're going to do it at a friend's house of mine who also grew up without a dad. But we're going to start by going and picking up the stuff that we need, and we'll go from there. All right, some of the equipment you're going to need to do a barbecue with is a barbecue. This one would only be 15 bucks. This one, a little bit bigger, is only 20 bucks. So you need the barbecue, you need charcoal. Here's some for $6.74, and you need lighter fluid, which is as little as $2.88. So that's the equipment you're going to need to do a charcoal barbecue. Let's go get the food. The other thing you might want to get from equipment is something like this: a spatula, tongs. Here's a set you can get for 97 cents. But this, you're going to have most of this stuff at home already, more than likely. So we're not going to worry about that right now, but if you don't have it, you'd want to get that too. All right, I'm at my friend Philip's house, and we are going to do some barbecuing. So Philip, tell us about your barbecue.
Okay, so we have a barbecue. It's pretty simple barbecue. I want to say it was like $75, maybe $80. Nothing crazy expensive. And it's round, it has a couple legs on the bottom and a couple wheels, so you can move it back and forth pretty easily to a good spot that you might want to barbecue in.
Cool. So I didn't realize this, but Philip, you have not barbecued before.
I've tried a few times and it was too cold, so it went pretty unsuccessful.
I can share my expertise.
Absolutely.
Which I don't have a ton, but I do know how to charcoal barbecue, and this will be good. You got the new barbecue, so we're going to start with the charcoal and the chimney and get the charcoal going.
Perfect.
All right, let's do that. So here's how we're going to start this. There's some charcoal underneath, and Philip, that's usable again. So
yeah,
we're going to take this off, and I'm just going to have you do it so you can get it. And this is a new one. It's still nice and clean inside. And the tongs you've got here, yeah, these are cold, so it doesn't matter if you touch them now.
Yep.
But you'll want to fill the chimney. You don't have to have a chimney to start your charcoal, but it comes in handy. So you can just put all of this in the chimney.
Put it all up.
So because not all the charcoal has the embedded lighter in it, and you've got these lighter cubes. So if you look at the picture on the back, that's on the front. On the back, it shows how you use those. So we're going to take two of those out, Philip. Now, if you take two of those out, put them on, just set them down on this, light it, and then we'll set this on top of it. And that is the source of heating the charcoal. So now the charcoal will start, but it needs a kickstart to get going.
Right.
And then once it's going, and we see on the top that these ones on top are starting to go, then we'll spread them out again. We'll just dump them out, and then we get our heat that way.
Kind of.
All right, so now we're just waiting for this to get hot. So any questions about anything to this point?
No, I think what we've done so far is pretty
straightforward.
Pretty straightforward,
Okay,
not difficult.
Okay. When you charcoal barbecue, you get a different flavor, and that's why that's fun to do sometimes. So while we're waiting for this, because this could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes to actually get the charcoal hot enough and going. So Philip, you were raised without a dad.
I was.
Can you tell us about that?
So I know for me, like you said, I grew up without a dad. I was lucky enough that most of the time my mom was working because she was a single mom, so I was staying with my grandparents a lot.
Okay.
So, my grandparents were there, but at that point I'm a little kid in their 60s and 70s.
So you were around your grandma and your grandpa a lot?
I was quite a bit. But I feel like there's a lot of things I just didn't really know. That my dad probably would have taught me had he been around, like using a grill.
How to barbecue.
My grandpa, he was not a fan of barbecuing. He was okay if someone else barbecued and he would eat it.
He was okay eating it.
He was okay eating it, but not doing it.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a grill.
Yeah.
We didn't have a yard this size like we had.
Yeah, you got a nice one.
So there's quite a lot of things I probably didn't really know, that I kind of feel like maybe I missed out on some that having that father figure there really could have helped. And I know some part of it, I remember like when I was in elementary school, you know, maybe like 3rd, 4th grade kind of time, how kids made fun of me because my dad wasn't around. And because they all had their dads. So they would kind of be like, hey, what's wrong with you? Because you don't have, your dad's not here, you know?
I think for me, that was probably the biggest challenge, was feeling like something was wrong with me because my dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's probably the hardest, besides not learning how to barbecue. You didn't have older siblings?
No, I was...
Other siblings. Were you an only child then?
So I was an only child for a long time.
And for reasons like that.
Yeah.
Because there's things that you typically or often learn. Now these days, it's probably much more common to be growing up in a family without one mom or dad or shared parents or whatever. But you're here so you can learn how to charcoal barbecue, right? And whatever else we can teach you. I look down in here now, I can see glowing. You look in there,
Yeah.
you see glowing underneath.
Yep.
It's not to the
Coming
top
up.
yet. So it's getting there, but it's not there yet. Again, when we're cooking hot dogs are already cooked. You're really just rewarming them because all the meat inside is cooked. You can grab a raw hot dog, eat it, and you're not really eating raw meat. But it tastes better when it's hot. And when you got that barbecue flavor on the surface. And I got some brats, and we'll want to cook those a little bit more too. They get nice and juicy. So, all right, I think we're almost there, but we're going to give it just a few more minutes. You can't see on the camera very well, but the
flame's coming up.
Flame's at the top. It's hot. These are probably maybe just a couple more minutes, and I think we can spread those out.
Yep.
All right, so for the last 2 minutes, if you were going to give advice to a boy growing up without a dad, what would the piece of advice you would want to give them?
What I would say is, don't think you're all alone and that there's something wrong with you. And for me, a lot of times is what I end up having to do, if I feel those kind of things, I have to do something. Like, for me, most of the time it's something physical.
Particularly, I used to, when I'd get real frustrated, I'd go run.
Yeah.
This little shield is a heat shield right there. So that...
Correct.
Now spread that out evenly. And longer tongs can help with that too. One thing I'd probably have you do on these is these 3 new ones that we put in, set those next to some of the smaller ones. Sits like that. Some grills will actually have 2 different levels of that you can set the grill, the closer to the coals and not. This is fine. Lots of heat. All right, we're just checking these now. How are they looking?
Well, they're cooking.
But maybe rotate them a little bit then, so they get the other side down. So we don't have a ton of coals. Actually, there's a good bed there. It is warm, but it's not hot. And we can't get that any closer to that, so we could have done more coals. This is all pre-cooked. It comes down to a question of how warm is it and how hungry are we? You can tell it's, if you poke this and you see juices coming out on the broth. So, are we hungry or do we want to let them go longer?
I'm hungry.
Oh, well there's the answer.
I think they're looking pretty good.
All right.
And I'm super hungry.
All right, so we cooked some hot dogs and some brats, ate them, they were delicious. And now you know how to do it too. But remember, you are never done until you've cleaned up. So, we gotta clean up now. All right, so we cleaned up where we ate, but we still have the barbecue that needs to be cleaned up. So what do we do for barbecue cleanup? Well, I'm going to tell you the Stepdad method, and that is you really don't do anything until the charcoal is cold. Because otherwise you'd have to displace it somewhere else or dunk it in water, and you don't want to do that. So that, in this case, you just let it sit there till it's cold, and then you deal with the ashes. If the charcoals are big enough, you could reuse them like we did today.
Yep.
Otherwise, put it back where it goes, and we're good.
Great.
Any questions?
No.
All right. All right. All right, stepsons. Hopefully on this one you learned some things about cooking with charcoal. If you haven't done it before, you can try it and do it. It's not a lot of equipment. You have to be a little bit careful, but you can do this. It's not that bad, and it's kind of fun to do your own cooking and enjoy your own food, just like Philip and I did with his family today. So always remember to be safe when you're doing that. Always clean up when you're done, and especially remember those 2 messages from every video. You can succeed even though your dad is not in your daily life. And always remember, your stepdad loves you. I'll see you on the next video. Hey, Johnny. No, stop it. You gotta tell us who you are.
My name is James.
James, that's a good name. Why do you think I like that name? Why do you think so?
I don't know.
It's the same as mine.
Yeah!
Yeah, we got a thumbs up. We got a thumbs up. Let's see that. Thumbs up for the hot dogs. We've got a train coming, and I'm not thinking very well anyway. This is going to be a quick one. Right? It is.